Guys, welcome back to day one of E3 Live, powered by Twitch. I'm here, very excited with the Dragon Age Inquisition team. Got Mark and Mike with us. What's up, guys?
Hey, it's good.
All right, so we're going to get to see some additional Dragon Age footage here, and I've got tons of questions for you guys. I'm sure we'll see tons of questions from chat also, so keep it coming. But what are some of the things you guys want to touch on today?
Well, I think one of the things I'd like to look at is sort of the way we've tackled combat. You know, we're going for a really good hybrid between kind of action and real time, and then being able to dive into a tactical view, which is available on like every platform now. It's not just PC only.
Awesome.
So I'd love to look at that and talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think the other thing is we're really trying to bring the exploration of an open world game into that really storytelling that BioWare is really known for. Love to dig into that and show a little bit of that today, too.
Please, yeah, the open world aspect. So let's play the video and check it out.
Cool.
Okay. There we go. All right, so what do we have going on here right now?
So here we're actually in an area called the Hinterlands. It's outside of Red Cliff Village for people that have played Dragon Age Origins. It's a medium-sized area for Dragon Age Inquisition, but this area is actually bigger than all of Dragon Age Origins put together all by itself.
Wow.
Yeah. In fact, basically everywhere you can see here, you can head to, you can climb. We've opened up a lot of movement as well. You can jump now to go over, you know, obstacles to kind of make your way up and down.
You
hills.
can jump now.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. I know. Revolution.
Yeah. No, I'm surprised by that.
But no, I mean we haven't done that before, and you know when we said we want to have areas that are more vertical, areas that you can interact with. Right now we're looking at a cool kind of mechanic that has you kind of hunting around the area looking for lost artifacts.
So is that what a shard is? Is
yeah,
that shard spotted?
Yeah.
All right,
in
cool.
fact, bad guys have kind of been here ahead of us and started setting these up in these like clandestine locations. So you're taking advantage almost of the bad guy tech. Though I don't think we're going to talk too much about the bad guys.
Yeah. So what's my incentive to go and explore, like, you know, on these hills? Like, well, why am I going? Like, why should I deviate off the path on my quest to go where I'm going next?
So the thing we wanted to make sure is that when you're out in the world, that it's all purposeful. So ultimately, everything you're doing is either designed to strengthen you and your party, so you're getting crafting materials to build better weapons, better armor, or you're doing things that actually strengthen the Inquisition. You're doing things like closing fade rifts, which increases the renown and the reach of the Inquisition. You're helping citizens or freeing people that can actually come and reinforce your Inquisition. That's really one of the core tenets of Dragon Age Inquisition, is that you're the leader of an organization. This allows you to do things you couldn't do as an individual.
Right. So what are the benefits to me for like making my Inquisition like more influential, stronger? Like what impact does that have on the game?
There's a few really key benefits. The first one is that it's really the mechanic by which you decide where the story goes next.
Right.
Rather than like, oh, the story will go here, then here, then here. Like, you know, it's kind of like our older games. The story rewarded you with more story.
Right.
We wanted to break that up and say, look. We're setting a goal for you. You want to lay siege to this fortress, or you want to, get your way into this fancy Orlesian ball. Well, you need to be influential enough to kind of maneuver the politics, or to build up your siege weapon, that kind of stuff. And so, adventuring now kind of earns you a currency of power that you can then choose how you spend and what objective you want to pursue next.
That's great. It's not battle power; it's politics also, and becoming influential there. That's
Absolutely.
amazing. So, yeah, this horse. I mean. Are horses the only thing you can ride? Are there any other mounts?
So we definitely have a multitude of different mounts, not just horses. Things like lizardy creatures and that sort of thing. You collect them in the world, and yeah, they'll give you different perks as you're riding around the space.
Yeah, and really the horse is there to get you through spaces you've been through before. One of the things we aren't doing is scaling enemy creatures or anything like that. They're not like, oh, it suddenly gets way tougher. When you come back to a space, if it was relatively easy, then it will still be so. More likely, though, is that you'll have been there, established camps, started influencing the area. You'll start seeing your banners flying and your men patrolling the roads rather than it just being like a static locale.
So conversely, I could like venture somewhere and face something like incredibly strong, like I'm not ready for this, I'm going to try anyway and get my ass kicked.
Speaking of something incredibly strong, here's one.
Oh, is that a dragon we see?
That was a completely non-timed, non-technical.
Oh,
well done. Well done. You just led me right in there.
Hurry, yeah.
Yeah, so we've reworked dragons from the ground up. It's in the name, so we thought it would be worthwhile. The big thing is now, rather than targeting just a dragon like a giant circle, you now actually target individual limbs, and they're so big you can get into them, under them, fight through, pin them down. And one thing you'll see in this fight is, as it progresses, we're actually going to damage one of the limbs, and the dragon will start limping. And as it lands, it'll fall over, meaning you can pin it down, really go to town with your
Could like, you know, knock off like a wing or like hurt the wing so it doesn't like kind of fly above me. That's really cool.
That's right. Yeah, you can really target the individual parts to your advantage.
Yeah, and a big part of that is really the teamwork, right? So I mean, we're going for that same feel you get when you team up to take down a big creature in an online game, that kind of thing. But again, the party's always been the heart of DA games. So the mages have their own set of skills. In fact, we have 200 spells and talents for you to pick from. So you can build basically any character into any role.
That's way more than previous Dragon Age games, right? I mean, not surprised.
There's a lot more upgrades, talent trees, you name it.
And so, just to be clear, this is still like, you know, like a single player like adventure, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Right.
So,
cool.
So you control all of these characters, and a little further on, we'll get into kind of the tactical view and showcase that.
Right.
But you'll notice here we're switching between different characters you control. So that lets you, you know, say, okay, I'm going to move to my archer, I'm going to do this. You can do that all in real time, or as we'll show later, in pause.
That's very cool. So
it's down on a leg.
Poor how many dragons? Like, how many different dragons are there? Can you tell me, or is are there like a wide variety? Or
there's different types, different breeds. They look different. They're all in different areas. They're all basically apex predators, so they're really tough encounters. They're basically designed for endgame, but they drop incredible loot and crafting materials. And with dragon stuff, you can kind of make the best stuff in the game.
Oh, that's so. If I encounter a dragon, can I get away, or am I just like stuck?
You can.
I can't.
At any time you can disengage.
Yeah, we really want to make sure because the game isn't auto balancing to you. You want to make sure that if you're engaging into a combat that you aren't ready for, that you can get the hell out of there.
Very cool. How about the save system? Can I like save whenever I want? Can I like see spot dragon, save it, go encounter, like, all right, well, let me. I mean, I might not even need to do that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you can save anywhere. You know, pretty true to the games we've had previously.
Yeah, chat's going wild, by the way. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, that's good.
So here we're actually a little bit further on. We're actually in Redcliffe Castle. You can see the Fade Rift, which is basically the thing that's threatening the world there up in the sky. The world of demons kind of leaking into this part of the world.
Yeah. And how does the Inquisition play into that? Is Inquisition trying to like do like a power play, like take care of this and then like, you know, take over everything? Like, what's the? Can you tell me a little bit more about like the starting story?
Yeah, well, the Inquisition is actually founded kind of in opposition to everyone's wishes.
Right.
There's a lot of groups that see this giant cataclysm happen, and their response is to go, well, we need to make a decision and form a committee to have it. You know, they don't do anything. And so when we sat down to build Inquisition, one of the things we talked about with the team is, what if instead of like joining the rebels or joining the Jedi, what if you started it? Right? What if you were the beginning of that? So you were there from day one and you kind of grew your own kind of power and grew into the role of Inquisitor. So the thing that makes you kind of special in the game is you have this mark on your hand. You don't know why it's there. That's one of the key mysteries. And with it, you can close these rifts that open up around the world. It's part of the reason people like look to you as a savior.
Ah.
Yeah.
So,
conversation. Now, I wanted to talk about this.
Go for it.
People have been looking for this forever. Hey, can we finally see a female Canary in game? This is the first appearance, basically ever.
Yeah, sexy.
And she's got awesome horns and tattoos and everything. Yeah. Again, you can customize. There's 4 races, 2 genders. You actually have 2 different voices per gender now. It's going to be your character.
Voice acting seems really nice so far.
Yeah, we're
this guy looks so sad.
Yeah, well, that was his
son.
Oh, wow. Yeah. All right, that would make me upset. Yeah.
He's a little pissed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously that was Liliana. We are going to have some returning characters. We've announced Morgan already.
Yep. Colin.
Oh. Yeah.
Who is very divisive. You love him or you hate him.
Yeah.
I'm guessing there's some other cameos that maybe we're not speaking of now, like will we run into any Grey Wardens?
There's a non-zero chance of that.
Yes. All right.
So in this fight, you can see a little bit of the tactics just while we had it on screen there. With the pause and play, you're able to basically move the camera up, but the thing is, it isn't a fixed angle. You can bring it down, zoom around the action. You can look at how it's playing out, and you can get some amazing screenshots. Amazing. So you get it real time, and the nice part is that at any moment you can resume time without changing the mode or losing your camera perspective. So it's the same thing as pause and unpause, but we haven't done this on the other platforms other than PC in the past.
So that's great. Now this, and I'm sure you guys put a lot of love into making sure it's easy on, like, you know, the other platforms, on the consoles.
Yeah.
Yeah. The controls are really custom for each of the platforms. So
the PC feels a lot more mouse and keyboard. Yeah. It's a controller. Though PC players can use a controller if they want to, which is something we've done.
All right. Awesome. So
fans, Iron Bull has a face. Everyone thought he was going to be our tally. You'd never see his face. He'd always be facing away from you.
Now he's got a face.
Yeah, like Creepy Watson or something. This scene's kind of fun here.
All right.
Fun?
fun in a dark way.
That's my favorite kind of fun.
Shielded by flame.
Oh, and
I just saw someone ask, can we customize our followers' looks with armor? Yeah, you can. You can actually swap armor in and out for them. They'll change. Bull's actually wearing like a set of plate mail that isn't from when he started in the demo.
yeah. So how wide is the variety of, let's say, like armor and weapons?
Pretty big. You can craft them yourself.
Oh, hot.
So yeah, I mean, it's definitely a pretty wide variety. With weapons, you're basically, you can swap out the hilt, the blade, sometimes an arm guard as well.
So October 7th.
October 7th, yeah.
I am incredibly excited. And how long, like, let's say, you know, just like normal player, how long do you expect this game, like, you know, to kind of like take up my life? How long will I be locked away in my room playing this?
Ooh, we built it. Mark actually laid a challenge out for us when we started designing it to be a game that scales in terms of how much time and investment you'd want to do.
Right.
There is kind of a fast way through it. If all you want to do is just story, and you want to just kind of optimize for that.
Right.
I don't know, 50. I don't know. It's hard to put a number on.
Yeah.
It's still pretty big.
That is insane.
And we do. I mean, we built. There's a lot of game.
Right.
But when we built it, what we wanted to do was make it that you kind of were setting your own objectives.
Right.
So you're going out and you're gathering crafting materials. Oh, I've got
sure.
some iron. I got some cool stuff like that. Maybe what you want to do is put that into new armor. Maybe what you want to do is actually fulfill what we call a requisition, which is getting new armor for the Inquisition. That takes a large amount. You have to go find logging stands around the world and stuff. But if you do that, the Inquisition gets more powerful.
So you're equipping your Inquisition.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So that power then translates into story progress, right? And so now, cool, because my troops are better equipped, I'm now better able to deploy them and la la la. So in that way, we have a way where it's kind of this tension between, do I upgrade myself, upgrade my Inquisition? You can spend money to make the Inquisition better, or spend money to buy awesome weapons for yourself. So it's kind of like how do you want to play? And playing your way has really been one of our core goals.
And
Absolutely.
can you go through the game like neglecting the Inquisition, or you really get like punished heavily for that?
There are
if
gonna
you're
be
not looking out for your peeps, then what's gonna happen?
There are going to be places where you need that force behind you. So like maybe the Grey Wardens have walled themselves up in a stronghold, and you need to knock down the door with extreme prejudice.
Right.
Maybe you need a few hundred guys to come along with you to do that. So there will be places where you absolutely need to strengthen the Inquisition.
In fact, they will build a battering ram shaped like
Oh.
it's a great moment, and
Yeah.
that I mean, people were like, oh, surely that doesn't
Sounds
happen.
like an epic moment, or
It
many
is.
epic moments. I'm sure.
That's our goal.
So how about the characters? I mean, so Dragon Age, like my characters would banter at each other. I could learn more about them, have these conversations.
Yeah.
Like how deep does that go in Inquisition?
It's I think it's probably the deepest we've ever done. Each character, in fact, we have our biggest cast. We have 9 followers that can join you. Then we have your advisors who also play a major role in the story.
What does an advisor do?
The
They just
advisor
guide you, or like
they're kind of like the face of the Inquisition. And Liliana is one of them. So she's like in charge of all your spies and in charge of your agents and so on. So they all have major roles too. And what we wanted to do is make sure that not only could you oh cool, they have their moments in the game, but if you want to just wander up and talk to them, ask them questions about their past, that kind of stuff. That was the thing that I think people loved in Origins.
Yeah,
too.
definitely.
You couldn't do that as much. So
Right. Glad that's back.
We hauled it back in. And actually, one of my favorite parts is that we built a system we call real-time role-playing.
Right.
For the conversations like that, where you might just be like chatting at the camp and stuff, they engage in a way where you can at any time kind of say, I'm just going to go and walk off, and they'll be like, okay, see you later, rather than you always being pulled onto like a stage and camera shots and stuff. So you maintain a lot of control over those kind of real-time conversations.
So I'm never forced to kind of like sit there when I just wanted to go like I just want to go craft this item. Like I'll come back to this later. You can come back.
Or the dreaded misclick. Hello, goodbye, right? Like you want to be like, oh no, I'm going to head out.
I'm just going to walk away from this. Yeah.
Very cool. So how about everyone asks about romance?
Ooh, that comes up a lot.
Oh, yeah, I imagine so. Yeah. So what do we have in store for us in Inquisition?
So this is the most romances we've done in a Bioware game. So there are, I don't know if I'm not going to give numbers, I don't think.
No, but they're all optional. There's a large number of them. They come in a wide variety of flavors. Really what we're hoping is everyone find someone to love.
Of course, we were all looking for somebody.
Deep down, virtually.
Virtually love,
especially virtually.
Yeah.
Very cool. I mean, so how about like how long have you guys been working on this game?
Well, we actually started working on this before Dragon Age Origins even shipped. We had some people doing some initial concepts. Then we sort of started getting into Frostbite I don't know, probably 4 years ago, and then we really started ramping up about 3.5 years ago. That's when the team really started to get sizable.
Can I ask how large the team is now? How many guys are working on?
You can ask. I don't know if actually the
if you
actual
guys
number.
I don't want to get
but it's big.
It's a really big.
It's a really big team. Yeah.
Yeah, it's bigger than the teams we've used on either of the previous games, and in part that's because we've had to develop some of our skill sets, right? Being able to do the more open stuff. There's a comfort in questing being kind of linear and being in tubes, because you can put down triggers and say, okay, this will happen, then this will happen, and that can give you a really awesome experience. But when you throw up in a space like we saw at the beginning, where it's like, hey, you can go that way or that way or that way or that way,
jump over that wall over there and enter the
much more
conversation.
complex, I'm sure. So cool. Let's take some questions from chat, guys. This is an awesome opportunity. What questions do you guys have about? Can you romance dragon ladies?
if you can find a dragon lady.
The high dragons are all female.
Oh,
so
jeez. Well, yeah.
They might have an interesting concept of what romance is. Eating your face, maybe.
Yeah,
just dinner, right?
Yeah. That is romance to a dragon.
Let's see here. All right. So moving on. So how large? See something like this landscape. The open world is larger than. Like Origins, way larger.
It's way bigger, yeah. I mean, what we've done is because this is a game of such a grand story, it's built of really big individual regions. So in the Hinterlands, which we saw at the beginning of the video there, that's in Ferelden, relatively well populated, but you'll go into the swamps. Because this is such a big story, it spans 2 nations. We needed this space to really be able to tell it, to move through it.
Will there be a lot of familiar locations? Like, will I go here like, oh yeah, I remember this from Origins or from Dragon Age 2?
There's some, obviously. Obviously, yes. Redcliffe. It's funny. They basically had to rebuild it after Origins, so it's a different town. Because that's, I don't know if you remember when you were marching out, it was like, oh, and in comes the Horde. So it kind of got messed up. But there'll be some nods to previous locales. But we also wanted to expand the world, and really the big thing for us was to bust into Orlais, which is, kind of our French analog, and a nation we've talked about a lot, but really never shown. And
into the mix.
Yeah, exactly. So there's cool stuff about the elven politics, and oh wow, here's where they made their last stand in the Dales and that kind of thing. So you get to see some neat bits of history. Again, ideally we're broadening the world whenever you go explore something new.
Right.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure if you went to an area that there was a reason for the Inquisition to be there, that you weren't just sightseeing or going to the hot tour spots from previous games. So there are some.
Very cool. And you mentioned there just being like a larger cast of characters than any previous game.
Yep.
Now, at what rate? Like, will I just be constantly bombarded by like new characters joining? Are there some characters on my squad that I will just not encounter if I don't find them? Like, so there's a chance I can go through the game and there'd be like awesome, like teammates or Inquisition members I could not find unless I go out there and I look for them.
You need to keep hunting. You definitely, we don't want anyone that shows up in like hour 90 and is like, oh hello, like he or she's not going to have the same weight, but. It's possible. In fact, it's also possible to kind of like make decisions that piss them off enough that they're like, you know what, I'm out, I'm done, and I think
they'll leave you.
Yeah, last time we looked at the number, it is possible to end the game, and you have to try very hard with just one person in your party. So you're like, yeah, you and me, buddy. And it's bro fist from there on out.
Who's gonna try that out? I'm gonna try.
Yeah,
it's gonna be impossible.
It is. It takes. Yeah, you have to be pretty schizophrenic, right? Because they have their own like, oh, I want to do this and I want to do this, and so you have to basically be like, okay, constantly choosing what
the opposite of the person you're talking to.
Right, so I'm bringing you so I can be a douche to these people, and vice versa.
Can you tell me more about the leveling and the stats and how that's going to be handled as you go through the game? Will it be very similar to Origins? Is there anything new in terms of how often you level up? Like what rate are you leveling up?
Yeah. I think we're tight in time, but I mean, in short, you'll be getting your stats, your skill points, and that kind of stuff. We've also built a lot of the non-combat skills into the Inquisition as it levels up.
Right.
You have your men do comprehensive research on Arcane, and suddenly you have new dialogue options open up. So it's kind of a neat new approach on skills that isn't kind of the traditional skills. We're kind of wrapping it into that metaphor.
Awesome. So. Mark, Mike, thank you very much for introducing us to more Inquisition. I can't wait to play. And where can people go to find out more about Inquisition?
DragonAge.com.
DragonAge.com, guys. Thanks so much. Really excited to play October 7th. I got the pre-order going on right now.
Thanks for having
us. Thanks, guys.
A lot.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks, everyone. Back soon.